Alright, the big three here. We got the Osprey Atmos 65. This is brand new, just got it this year. I like the pack, I love it. It does ride well. A little big, a little too much. I normally carry a 46-liter Osprey on a 2-3 day hike, but I've just got a little more gear this time, so I need something a little bigger. It's a little heavier than I want to carry, with being I think it's 4 pounds or something, but I do like to pack it. Works well. The only thing I do not like about it, I'm glad I saw another YouTube person using this and said the same thing. The side pockets are hard to get things out of when they're on your when you're wearing it. I thought it was just me, but maybe not. And you pretty much have to have it off the back or really stretched out. I just wish the pockets would stretch a little better. I have converted to a hammock the past couple of years, but I only started out with I have an Eagle's Nest Outfitter double nest. Really loved it and saw a bunch of people using hammocks. I took a long nap in my Eagle's Nest one day and I said, this is great, I really like it. Although I jumped into it without knowing what I needed to get everything. So the first thing I bought was I have a Hennessy. Over the years I have switched it out to the Dutch Swear cinch buckles, straps. I just like those better than the whoopee slings. I don't know, just maybe it's just me. I have the hex tarp to go with that, and there's my stakes for the tarp and so on. One thing about hammock camping, of course, this is again my equipment that I have is a little heavier than my tent. I have an older model Big Angus Copper Spur 1. Love that tent. Even with the rain flies, only a little more than 3 pounds, and this whole setup here is over 4 pounds, or right at 4 pounds maybe. So, but I get a better sleep in it. My sleeping bag is an older REI down sleeping bag. At this one I'm not going to take it all the way out of the stuff bag. Of course it said it was rated for 0, but that was before the standardized ratings came out. I think it's really about a 20 degree. I also have a Sea to Summit Thermalite reactor sleeping bag liner. It says it adds about 15 degrees more warmth to it. And then I do have an underquilt. I'm not going to take this out. An underquilt. It's an Eagle's Nest underquilt. It weighs a little more than a pound, right at or so. And being the time of the year that I'm starting, most of the time in late spring, summer, I normally just sleep with a pad. So I'm taking the pad with me also. This may be, suspenders and belt syndrome here, but just in case, because I know a long range forecast is calling for some little cooler weather, cooler mornings while I'm out there. Another, as what people say, luxury items. I have a little air pillow. I love the pillow. I've tried using the stuff sacks, so on and so forth. Of course, the pillow works out much better in the hammock. So, and that's my big three. Okay, guys, going to make it close now. Of course, what I'm showing you here is also what I'm wearing and carrying. Is pretty much, carrying an extra set of everything that I am wearing, so I can change into until I can get laundry done and so on and so forth. I have convertible pants. I always like those. Most of the times I hardly ever take the bottoms off unless it's extremely hot. I just don't like the leaves and stuff getting down into my shoes, my boots and stuff. I have the Under Armour synthetic boxer underwear, boxer tights, like those. Just had them for a while, so I'm not going to change out for anything else. Smart wool socks, 2 pair. Of course, wearing 1 pair, have an extra one so I can change out and have clean socks. Now, these smart wool is what I've already have. I'm not going to go out and buy the darn tough just to have them when these are just as good. I mean, or at serving me now. As I wear out, I may get the darn tough. Sock liners, and that's another issue I've got going on. Sometimes I wear sock liners, sometimes I don't, but I do have something going on right now, and the sock liners seem to be helping a lot. So we'll get into that when we talk about boots and shoes later. I'm going to do another segment on that. Shirts, synthetic t-shirts, one to wear, one to carry, and also have a long sleeve for those cool mornings and so forth. Bandanas, I am a bandana guy. I got into that when I was in the Marine Corps back in the late 60s, early 70s, and I've always worn bandanas. Everybody sees me in bandanas when I'm around. A fleece pullover. I think this is just a Nike that I've had for ever, still very good, still warm, so I like just wearing that. I'm going to skip over here to my sleepwear. The long johns, I've got the REI mid-weight long johns, and the REI tops, and then a pair of REI socks. That is what I will sleep in, and hopefully I don't have to wear those if it gets very cold. I have a buff, like my buff, and also have a little microfleece REI beanie, and a pair of windbreaker gloves. Hopefully I don't need anything more than that starting the 1st of April. This is my puffy jacket. It's not a it's not a down jacket. It's a Mountain Hardwear. I've had it again for about 5 years. It's still going great. It's a synthetic jacket, so basically what I wear is a long sleeve and have this on, or long sleeve, short sleeve, and then layer up with the fleece pullover, and then put the jacket on. I'll usually just have that at night in camp when it's cool, and first thing when I get up in the mornings if it's cool, and then take it off. I hardly ever hike in that. So my rain gear is Frog Togs. This is the first time I'm ever carrying these, but a lot of people were suggesting them. They're very lightweight and they're cheap. Rain gear to me is something where you prepare for the worst and hope for the best. It's like taking insurance on yourself and hoping you never have to use it, but you know you are. So I'll carry the Frog Togs. I've debated back and forth whether to carry the pants or not, but I'm going to take them with me. Camp shoes, these are, I'm not a Croc fan. I never have been able to wear Crocs, but these are Croc sandals, and I really like them. They're extremely lightweight. We're just going to wear the slides, but I like having kind of the sandals to walk around in. I can get around in those a little better. Gaiters, I carry those. I'll only use them if I take the bottom of my pants off. Like I said, I just don't like to get the leaves and sticks down into my shoes, and that's just a personal preference to me. Little REI lightweight ball cap. So I wear that everywhere. It's about my third one because I'll wear them and I'll take them off in a restaurant or someplace having breakfast or whatever, and then forget to walk off with them. Something new I'm going to bring up this year. Been watching a lot of guys talk about this, and being an older guy, I'm almost 65, I'm kind of feeling the same way, are knee braces and ankle braces. I've got some of the Tommy Copper sleeves that knee sleeves I'm going to put on, and then put the knee braces over those. My son-in-law has to wear knee braces. He's had a knee replacement, big basketball fan and player, so he suggested doing this, and this does feel a lot better than having the knee brace against your skin. So again, they are a little hot, but you know, whatever's going to help out your knees. I want to get out there and like I've seen a lot of people and hear a lot of people talking about it. You know, you plan all this and spend all this money, have all these high expectations, and can't even make it to Neil's Gap because you've blown out your knees already and didn't have to go home. So I've done a lot of hiking and backpacking, and I've never had any problems, but I do have, you know, I know how sore your knees are for the few days afterwards, so I'm hoping this will really help out. So that's my clothes, and then I'm going to put this away and get out my shoes, and we'll talk about those. Alright, electronics here. Now, I find this ironic that these days we talk about our electronics that we're carrying, but it's just a day at a time. iPhone 6, not the 6S, that'll be what I will be filming everything on, and also you know, my photos and stuff, since I won't be carrying a camera anymore. A stick pick, man, what a great idea this guy had. A little stick pick with a selfie clamp for my iPhone, a knockoff GorillaPod from Walmart, a small charger, external battery charger. I've tested this. I can get a couple of charges out of it, maybe more for my phone, but normally I don't use a whole lot, so we're going to have to see how that works out. I got a SanDisk, 64 gig storage, because I have too much music on my phone. So I'll download my videos, my photos on that each night and take them off of my phone. Earbuds with that, charging cables, something my daughter had gotten. We had done some family photos, a little Bluetooth shutter. Worked great. I really like that, instead of having to reach up and grab the camera to stop it. A dual charge here, so I can charge my phone and my battery pack at the same time, maybe. Also, I had to buy a double charging cable, and I did that because I'm also carrying a Fitbit. I got an HR charge. The Fitbit does not draw enough current to keep the battery charger on, so I have to charge it at the same time I'm charging my phone to keep the battery going. My headlamp, great little lamp. I've had it for years. Just use it to tint a little bit, or in the hammock as I may want to do a little reading or something, or you know, go into the bathroom at night or whatever. So that's my electronics. Okay, my cook set and water. I have my cook set. I have the Jetboil Minimo. Years ago, I bought one of the first Jetboils that came out. Loved it. You know, the tall canisters. I always use it on multi-day hikes, so I want to, you know, cook a little bit more, have a little bit more food. But for this trip, ended up selling my original Jetboil, got about $75 for it really, and went out and bought the Minimo. I like that, so I can eat out of the pot a lot easier with just a regular little spoon. Um, and the water, um, I've gone to the Sawyer squeeze just like most people have. I did change out the cap on it. Like most people, I saw this on YouTube, of course. We find everything on there. Like the guy who talked about it had lost the tip on the pull cap. I like that. Another little rig I've done is I carried this as was also a bladder carrier, but I'm not carrying it on this trip, trying to cut weight a little bit. But this tube and clip is from a gravity feed, so when I get to camp I can fill my bag up. I got a 2-liter bag here. I can fill my bag up, add a little string to it, hang it, and then I could use this gravity feed to fill my bottles and stuff using the smart water bottles. Here, two of those, two of the what do we got here, the 23.7 ounce bottles. Should do me quite well. As much water that's on the AT, it's not that hard to find, especially this time of the year with the rain and stuff. A couple of extra bags, always carry the extra bag. I know a lot of people use the platypuses, but I've got the new bags. I've got another 64 ounce and a 32 ounce in there. And that should suffice there, some work out. Okay, that's my water and cook set. Okay, personal items. I've got a lot of medicine. Medicine I have to take with me daily. Unfortunately, that's about a half a pound of medicine that I've got. Just some lotion, bug spray, sunscreen, an extra fire starter, a ferro rod, and a lighter, a little Bic lighter, mini, camp soap, moleskin. I carry this Tang with me to add into my powdered medicine there to help the taste a little bit. Toothbrush, toothpaste, dental floss, some sanitized wipes, some earplugs in case I stay into the shelters, although I don't know why I'm really taking those, because I wear hearing aids, and I've made a little case there to put my hearing aids in night I have to take out, and also carry my extra batteries, toilet paper, hand sanitizers, and some wipes there. And this is my first aid kit I've had forever. I know people just make their own up, but back in the beginning when I got in, I bought that and just added and subtracted things as I used it. So, and that's my personal items. Okay, food. Nothing new here, nothing exciting. Typical. I've got some Mountain House, a few of them here. These were left over from things when I stocked up for some short hikes, so I'm going to use these up on this trip. The rest of my food is, the typical tuna, oatmeal mornings. I've got some bagels, peanut butter, trail mix, raisins, got some ramen noodle, beef one night for dinner with some Tide tuna to go into it. This is the shrimp flavored ramen noodle, and just pasta sides, stuff like that, so it's the same thing. My first day I'll have breakfast here at the house tomorrow morning before I leave. My wife will drive me up to Amicalola, drop me off, so I have my lunch. taking advice from other people and separating my days. So here's my lunch and snacks for tomorrow. Tomorrow night's dinner, day 2. Then I'll take my lunch items out of this bag, put it in here so I can have it easy to get to, put everything back into my bear bag, back into the pack, so I have to go through that, so I'll do that each day. I've got 4 days of food marked out here because the 4th day I should be at Mountain Crossings, and I'm sending a resupply there. And then extra, and I've always heard take 1 extra day of food just in case. Also, I've got some honey in there, and I just got some ramen noodles, some rice, beans and rice, a couple of Pop-Tarts, and Crunch bars, stuff like that. I do have some mayo, packets of mayo to throw in some of my tuna stuff. So that's, it's nothing earth-shattering on the food. I'm doing the jet boil, like I said, this time. So, I have a small alcohol stove, and I usually go as minimal as possible. But, I want to move along a little quicker, so when I can have my food a lot quicker than waiting on the alcohol stove to heat up and then having to wait on the food to rehydrate. That's the reason I'm doing the jet boil. Okay, we'll talk odds and ends and wrap this thing up. So get it all packed up and get ready to go. Head to Amicalola first thing in the morning. I have pretty much everything in my Sea to Summit dry sacks. These are the events. I've had them for years. They work great. I know they're a little heavier than most of the stuff. I see all the guys now using the Cuban fiber or sacks, but I just wasn't going to spend the money to get something to cut out a couple of ounces. I guess if I was really a gram counter, I could, but these work great, and these ones, that's why I have one. This is my food bag. A little larger than what I normally carry for a food bag, because I'm normally only out there for 2 or 3 nights. But I did get the longest hike I've ever done before is I did hike to Shenandoah, 110 miles from one end down to Fort Royal. And this was the food bag that I use. I have the larger size for my clothes. I don't need that big of a bag, but it squishes down. Then I have one for my personal items also, and of course you saw the compression sacks that I had my sleeping bag and my underquilt in. Another thing I carry is a 2-gallon trash bag, Ziploc trash bag that, of course, you can see that's been used for a while, so I do carry that with me. Keep all my trash in, dumping out when I get to where I can. Bear cable, same thing. I mean, everybody, you had to have your bear cable. I don't know why I went to black and white here. Must have done something. So, my bear cable in there, typical bear bag with 50 feet of paracord and a little carabiner. Pack cover. I love what Sam I Am said in his wrap-up video, that the pack cover only slows the rain down or filters the rain getting any back, so that's why I got everything else in dry sacks. Then I have the map and compass. I made copies of AWOL's book of just the sections that I'm going in, and I always carry a compass. I'm an old military guy, and I've had to use it, and I know how to read a compass. I know how to read a map. And this was a map of the Georgia section of AT that I printed off the internet. So I'll have that in my pocket, have this in my pack. Other things I will carry is another bag like this, dry Ziploc, with my driver's license, a credit card, an ATM card, and some cash, and my insurance card. So I'll have that on me. I always want to have your emergency information. So guys, that'll wrap it up, and we hope to see you on the trail. Alright guys, let's talk shoes and boots and the dilemma that I had. For years I have hiked and backpacked, and I've always worn Kings. Those fit me better than any shoe, anything I've ever tried. I had a pair of Kings boots of this type, and I had the shoes also, same model, but it was in the shoes. I literally walked the soles off of those, both pair of the boots and the shoes. So this year, and of course I had to get some new ones, and everyone was talking about the trail runners, so I tried the trail runners, the Brooks, and other trail runners, and I just could not get used to them. I'm sorry. Yeah, they were light. It was just because I do a lot of running, I do a lot of walking, and yeah, they felt great on my feet. But I can't stand feeling every twig and rock under, coming through the soles of them. So I tried some Salomons. Loved the Salomons. They were a great shoe. I have nothing against them, but they just didn't fit right for me. So I ended up going back to King. I bought this model of King shoes. They feel great. They were working out warm around, hiked in them, walked in them. I use them as my casual shoes, and they feel wonderful. First time I put my pack on and went out, I felt like after about 3 miles, I felt like I had a pebble on the ball of my foot. So I kept stopping and trying to find out what it was. Well, to give you a little background, without going into too much, I'm a semi-retired, and I work as a security officer, so I do a lot of walking, so I have calluses on the balls of my feet. Well, it was actually starting a blister. The callus was, my wife talked me into going to getting a pedicure. It took care of some of it, but didn't get all of it. So I ended up going and buying a pair of Merrell Moab boots. Brought those home, tried them, and they're a great shoe. A lot of people use them, and I have nothing against those because I had a pair of shoes that I've in those of another type, and I wore those quite well. But the toe boxes are just a little narrow, so I tried the wides, and they're too wide. So I ended up going back to the Kings. I said they're tried and true, had them forever. Got out, put my pack on, the exact same thing. I was out on a 7-mile training hike and had the same problem. So I'm wearing moleskin under in that section. Although I remember doing one training section, and these are the first pair of hiking boots I ever owned. They're still great. They're heavy leather. They're almost 2 pounds per boot. But I wore those a couple of times when I first started training, just for the weight itself, and going up and down Kennesaw Mountain, and I said, I wasn't having any problems with those. I tried them again, no problem whatsoever. These feel great. So painstakingly this time I'm gonna wear these. I just can't take the chance of getting out and having a problem with my feet. I mean, the feet is your transportation. If you start having major blister problems, then you're pretty much out of it. Just like your knee and your ankle problems. So, but of course, I do take moleskin, and I will say, in the 15-20 years that I have been hiking and backpacking, I have never ever had a blister, to knock on wood. I wish I hadn't even said that out loud now. But so we hope for the best. I've hiked in these many times. They're still great boots, and they still feel wonderful. Um, and so these are the ones I'm going to take, even though they weigh almost 2 pounds a piece. So there we are with shoes and boots, and that's it.